Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor, your front row seat for the trash fire that is society right now. I am Joker, your humble host, and today we're going to talk about a kindergarten teacher that hid toys on kids, that hid toys on boys so that they didn't have the opportunity to play with them, but the girls did. They were encouraged to use them. It sounds like a silly, topic, but remember this in at kindergarten age, in 15 years and 20 years, these are the young men that are coming forward and going to be our next generation. And, the reason why I have such big problems with this kind of thing is this is the one that made the newspaper. This one actually reached our ears. But how many of these things are happening quietly, whether it's in kindergarten or third grade or fifth grade? What are the kids learning today? And I got to be honest, I'm glad I don't want kids. I'm glad I don't have kids because they would have to be homeschooled. Because right now, school's an absolute mess. Again, this ideology is creeping in and it's harming the young men of our future. And again, it's not saying that, hey, we gave equal access to both kids. It's saying I took something away from the boys. That's not even giving extra to the young girls. It's saying I gave nothing to the boys. So let me get my screen recording going on this. And I've got 3 dating profiles for the day. I pulled up 3 of them for you. So a kindergarten teacher that refuses to let boys play with Legos in the name of gender equality. A kindergarten teacher in Washington State has decided not to let her boy students play with Legos in the classroom while the girls are encouraged to use them. Karen Keller, a teacher at Blakely Elementary in Bainbridge Island, Washington, has decided to engage her own classroom experiment of sorts, attempting to achieve what she calls gender equity. Keller noticed that during the 40-minute free playtime in the classroom, the boys naturally gravitated towards the Legos, building blocks, and other STEM-related toys, while the girls wanted to play with dolls and crayons. Now, let me stop you there. It's not that the boys were given Legos and the girls were given dolls. It's that the boys selected the Legos and the building blocks because men like things. Young girls, traditionally, and there's actually a really good study about this. I'll talk about it in a second. And the young girls wanted to play with the dolls and the crayons. And she says, I just feel like we are still so far behind in promoting gender equity, she told the Bainbridge Island Review. Worrying that the girls would be at a disadvantage later on in life, Keller was determined to make sure the girls in her classroom got their fair share and then some of toys linked to improving spatial and math skills. At first, she bought pink and purple Legos in an attempt to persuade the girls to play with them, but they still didn't show interest in the blocks. So did the boys take all the Legos and the girls just didn't have a chance to play with them, so they took the leftover dolls and crayons? No. The girls were given their own sets, even in colors that might make them drawn to them, and they still chose the dolls and the crayons. And she took the blocks away from the boys, and I'll get to that in a second. There's a really interesting thing. You can web search this. I have a link, and it's something that everybody posted. If you haven't been to my betterbachelor.locals.com, that's where I have a forum, and I post all my videos that you see here on YouTube, my backups over there. But I also have forums, and you guys can post videos and comments. And one of my viewers over there posted a video to what's called the Norwegian paradox. And what it is Norway is one of the most inclusive when it comes to making sure there's equality in roles of science for women and nursing for men, and they make everybody pretty much able to work any job that they want to. And in this area where they've made sure that it's easily accessible for any person to take any job, they have one of the largest gaps where men overwhelmingly work in engineering and mechanical type fields, and women overwhelmingly work in nursing and the sociology sociology type backgrounds or societal type backgrounds. If I'm using that wrong, I probably am. But anyway, women were gravitating towards people jobs. Men gravitated towards item jobs. And what they found, and this is such a great video, again, the link's over on my other website. What they found that's so fascinating is that it boils all the way down to testosterone in the womb, according to scientist studies. Because the first study they did is they talked about, okay, what about at the age of 9 months? What about the age of 2 or 3 days? 2 or 3 days in the crib, male babies were looking longer at geometric shapes on a mobile hanging over the crib. And the young girls were looking at faces and colors and things like that on a mobile. And they had 2 of them, and they could look at either one. And what they did is when they looked at one, they would count how long they'd stare at it. They found the girls wanted the faces and the colors, and the boys wanted the shapes and the designs. And they said, this is 1 or 2 days after birth. So where's this coming from? So they looked and they found that females with higher testosterone in the womb actually gravitated towards STEM career fields or science career fields. Men with boys with lower testosterone in the womb would gravitate a little bit more towards the feminine side. And then, of course, the boys with the more testosterone were So what they found is it really boiled down to testosterone. Like, testosterone actually may make the brain decide what it finds interesting. And then as you grow and develop, that obviously is much higher in men, which is why they choose engineering fields, fields where they work alone, fields where they don't have direct supervision, where they're left to their own devices. And the women graduated towards societal things. So please go look at that study. If I can find it, again, it's over on the other site. I'll bring the link over for you. But they found that this is kind of maybe a genetic component to this. So this woman buying special colored ones and giving them to the girls, well, that didn't work either. So what happened, she says after that, is that instead of letting it go, now remember, this is not a scientist, this is not a PhD, this is a kindergarten teacher deciding to screw with boys' happiness and girls' happiness and doing this stuff. She has no ability to know if this is a good or bad thing, but this is what people get in their own heads, these teachers get in their own heads, this ideology of, well, I know what's right, and girls have a disadvantage, so I'm going to do this, and they don't know anything. They don't know anything, but yet they're still given free rein to do this with kids in school. Anyway, instead of letting it go, Keller kept at it. She was issued school grant money to use for brand new Lego education community starter kits that she bought 3 of them for different classrooms at the school. She also decided to start a girls-only Lego club. Okay, see, but boys clubs, boys only is not good because then you're pushing the women out. But a girls-only club, that's okay. So a girls-only Lego club to encourage the girls to play with the building blocks and keep the boys away from them. So she took the blocks away from the boys. Again, forcing it on the girls, taking away from the boys. Keller admitted she even goes so far as to lie to the boy students when they ask to play with Legos, telling them they'll get a turn later, even though she has no intention of doing so. I always tell the boys, you're going to have a turn, and I'm like, yeah, when hell freezes over in my head, she said. I tell them, you'll have a turn because I don't want them to feel bad. So she's directly lying to them while she manipulates this stuff behind their backs. Gee, I wonder why young people today have trust issues. I wonder why. Boys get ongoing practice and girls are shut out of these activities, which just saddens me. Until girls get it into their system that building is cool, building is what I want to do, I want to protect that. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I like the one you guys came up with. Someone mentioned you can lead a feminist to education, but you can't make them think, or something, or you can lead to intelligence or something like that. So again, now she's forcing it on them. That's not what the girls want. It's not what the boys want. But she's determined that the reason why women don't get into STEM is because they don't understand that that's really what they want to do. She's forcing her ideology on boys and girls both. This is what we're doing in everything. We're forcing everybody how to think, how to feel. This is what we want to do with society. This is what we're going to engineer because things aren't equal. Well, things don't have to be equal. Things in nature are not equal. It's just the way it is. She goes on to say, Keller isn't concerned with the backlash she will likely receive from parents because she wholeheartedly believes she's doing what's fair and that her students understand the term fair comes in different shapes and sizes for different people. Fair is getting what you need to succeed or to get better, she said. Okay, is it fair to keep the blocks from the boys? Isn't that what they need to succeed and get better? No, so you just take them away from them, and now the girls have the choices of dolls and crayons and Legos and a girls' Legos only club, and what do the boys have? Nothing. Zero. Nada. But that's fair, you see, because they get what they get. They're getting what they need to succeed. So the boys are getting nothing, but that's going to help them succeed, you see. This is the logic. This is the kind of thinking that is so troublesome and what is leaving men in having so much of a crisis. Now, granted, this is kindergarten, but what if another teacher's doing something else in second grade and fourth grade and sixth grade and eighth grade? And I don't have the article in front of me. You guys can web search this because it's a thing where they're talking about they rate boys' papers in college harder than they grade girls, meaning that if a boy submitted the same paper as a girl, she might get a B plus, he might be getting a C or a C plus, and they get better grades on the same amount of work. Why? Well, the women are underprivileged. They need a leg up, you see. Well, the leg up you're giving them is not a leg up, because what you're doing for these girls is you're falsely inflating their ego. You're making them think they're smarter than they are, and they don't have to work as hard. So what are the young boys doing? The young boys, number one, they don't get as good a grade. Maybe they don't get as good an education. Maybe they don't get as good a degree. So they're at a disadvantage. But what you're also teaching them is you have to work harder to succeed. And so when the guy shows up to a job and he's smarter and he's a better worker and he's more intelligent, and I'm not saying this in all cases, but I'm saying if a man applies himself to try to get the same grades the girls were just given for less inferior work, the guy's going to be more qualified. And then what's that guy going to feel when he gets passed down because there's requirements for 40% of all employees to be female? Or what's a CEO going to feel, or an intelligent person, a successful person, applying for a membership on a board or a management position, and he's turned down for a woman that's inferior to him? Number one, the company suffers because they're getting an inferior worker. Number two, the woman suffers because now she's going to have a harder time finding a man that is as equal or as good as she is. We know women do not date down. And number three, you've got a guy that knows the system's working against him, and he knows it's unfair. And a lot of guys will not step up and say, I'm going to work even harder to make sure I say or I do well. A lot of guys will say, you know what? Screw it. I'm out. I'm not even going to try to get a job in this work career field. I'll go do something else. And that's why the graduation rates for women in upper degrees and even lower degrees now are becoming more and more a bigger gap. Women are winning the college battle. Women are winning the education battle. Women are in many ways becoming more successful in getting jobs in upper management, not only because they're doing better in school, but because they're also setting aside positions for them because there's a mandatory number of women that need to fill this. And guys are being left on the wayside. And guys are walking away, and guys are getting frustrated. And this is a case where everybody loses. Everybody loses. Because if the woman is in a great job position and she's getting a lot of money, someday she's probably going to want a family. Someday she's going to want a kid. And a lot of these women, and when they've looked at the statistics on this, and again, I don't have them in front of me, but they've looked at the statistics on this, and a lot of women, when they get married and decide to have kids, never go back to work, or they go back to work part-time. They decide they want to stay with their children and be with their family. And so, again, the guy becomes the one going out and getting the job. But if he can't get the jobs because they're filled with women that don't really want them or may leave after a while, again, everybody loses. Society loses. So here we've got a case where the boys were flat out lied to. They had their toys taken from them. Everything's being given to the girls for something the girls don't even want. And in the end, it's an absolute lose-lose. So if you guys have kids out there, make sure you know what your teachers are teaching them. Make sure you're, connected with what's going on in the public education, and educate yourself on this so you're aware of what's going on. So when these young men are coming up and they're struggling, this is the kind of stuff they're going through. All right, let us move on to the dating profile of the day. All right, the first one we have here is a gal. She is 37. Let me make sure I have my right soundboard pulled up here. She's sunny, driven, entrepreneurial, loyal, passionate in all areas of interest. Cup half full. Okay, we're on a good start. She sounds okay. Cup half full with lioness attributes. Oh man, another strong, powerful woman. Guys, can you handle her? Can you tame her? She says a cup half full of lioness attributes. Do you understand that? Many think they could hack such a woman, but really couldn't. LOL. We are like Marmite. Maybe that's Australia. Warning, I'm not very domesticated. What does that mean? I guess she's not very domesticated means no cooking, no cleaning, no doing the dishes, doing nothing around the house. But if you need an equal empress and going my way to conquer the world, you won't be disappointed. So guys, you need to follow her in her dreams along her path, because she is an empress going her way to conquer the world. You won't be disappointed. If you're content to, it's okay. So far, you don't. Okay, here we go again. Can we do English sometime, ladies? Like, honestly, if you're going to write a bio, use punctuation because you sound stupid. I'm just saying. And it'd be the same for guys. Anybody that puts on horrible punctuation and you sound stupid. Like, you can't even write proper English, really. If you are content to, it's okay. So far, you don't try to tame my ambitions or hinder my journey to my greatness. 37 on her way to greatness, guys, so line up. Oh, there's something here at the bottom. Let's see, I can barely make that out. What's it say? Oh, caveat. I've got 3 kids. All right. Men that are capable and intelligent and strong and interesting and outgoing are masculine. They want to be the strong one, the provider, the one that takes care of business. If you're the girl walking in and you want to take care of business too, and it's your world and get out of my way, you're never, ever, ever going to get a strong man. Or if you do, it's going to be for a very short period, and then he's going to bail because you two are going to be butting heads constantly. You cannot have 2 people in charge in a relationship. And if you're 50-50, there's still got to be the yin and the yang. You can't have 2 yings and 2 yangs and all that stuff. I do not know why people do not understand this. All right, next dating profile. She is 21. She likes movies, surfing, road trips, photography, and working out. What are her requirements for dating? Well, let's see here. Ask me about my OnlyFans. I'm not going to hit the alarm button. I don't want to wear it out. You get the idea. Ask me about my OnlyFans. I am 21 years old, and I have a 10-month-old son. Snapchat is blank. Now, there's multiple red flags right there. 10 months, the 10-month-old. So, obviously dad not in the picture pretty quickly. 21 years old, on OnlyFans. And here's the weirdest part of this whole thing. Looking for a relationship ASAP. If you're looking for a hookup, swipe left. That's probably the biggest red flag right there, is I'm looking for a relationship immediately. Why? Maybe she needs someone to help her with her spicy stuff for OnlyFans. Maybe she needs a daddy role model for her 10-month-old. Maybe she needs an injection of cash because OnlyFans not working out with her. Who knows? But why would you need somebody ASAP? If that is not a huge red flag. All right, and the last one. I thank you guys for sending these in to me. I tell you, so the picture is of a girl bending over the edge of a boat in a thong bikini. So pretty much the only thing you can see in this photo is her assets. Just her assets. I'm not an effing piece of meat, says the picture of the assets. So if that's all you're looking for, swipe left. I'm too intelligent to fall for your overly used BS pickup lines. Be honest and upfront. I'm too intelligent. 1 O in 2. Now you spell I'm too as in too much or excess or extra. T-O-O. But she spells it T-O. So when you say I'm too intelligent for you and you've spelled that sentence wrong with the 1, 2 to 3 letter word in it, you're not that intelligent. I'm just saying. I'm actually a nice woman who is looking for an actual nice gentleman. Sucks I have to use this to try to look for a guy that I like. But I barely ever leave my house. Trying to find someone to make me delete this. Don't bother matching with me if you're not going to talk or meet up. You know, I've said this on the other dating profiles, and I'll say it on this one again. If your main profile picture is your butt, your chest, your cleavage, your, face with a pound of makeup on it, and from the high angle and all it shows is your chesticles, and then you say, aren't there any real gentlemen that want to talk to me? And the guy looks at your profile and says, well, you're not really that nice. You're not really that intelligent. You're kind of entitled, but I guess I like your body well enough. Guess what he's going to comment on? Guess what he's going to try to... There's nothing else that you are offering. There really isn't. Because again, you notice these profiles aren't, I've got this degree, I work here, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I like hiking and fishing and boating and skiing and this, and I go to the gym, and I don't like smoking, I like... That's what you put on a dating profile. You've given us 0. Every one of these ladies has given us 0 about what they really are, other than an empress on her own path. This is a description of what she doesn't want. That tells guys nothing of who you are as a person. So I look at this and I say, gee, could we go hiking? I don't know. Does she like hiking? I just don't know. What else does she like to do? I don't know. Apparently she likes to show off her body, so I don't know. Maybe she's easy. I'll go that angle. That's the kind of guy you're going to get on these dating profiles when you do this thing. Lord help us, I'm telling you. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, join me over on betterbachelor.locals.com. We got forums. There's like 2,000 of you, I think, close to 2,000 of you joined yesterday after watching my Gray Stone video. So I thank you for coming over. It's a safe place where like-minded people can talk, and it's not on Facebook and Twitter and all the other social media that's going through the purge. Oh, and how about this? My Twitter account, and all I've done, I've never made a post. I've never tweeted anything personally. All I've done is retweeted certain things about society, about... and this is before I decided to, really get into it, or really stop using it, I should say. But I used to find interesting articles and retweet them, and then they'd be kind of like the content that I do here on Better Bachelor. My Twitter account, gone as of last night. They removed it. Now I can quickly make another one, and which I did, and all I'm going to do is browse with it so I can find stories and things like that. But I was included, and you know something? Not a supporter of one side or the other. I had a couple of little retweets about women behaving badly and about things like the kindergarten teacher and logo and the Legos and stuff like that. That's all I retweeted. Didn't even make harsh comments on it, and I was removed. So I'm telling you, you never know. Besides that, guys, if you'd like to support my work, links below as always. Again, you can like, comment, share, subscribe. Join me over on betterbachelors.locals.com. Check out my older videos, lots of good stuff. And a lot of times you guys say, hey, can you do a video on this? And I'm like, yeah, I did it last February. Or what about a video on this one? I'm like, last June. So go back and every title, every thumbnail is not necessarily all I talk about in them. I try to put in different topics and different things in these. So, watch it. I can't say that you'll necessarily find it interesting, but a lot of those older videos have good content in them. So I will leave it there, guys. This is Better Bachelor. I'm Joker. Remember, they're taking things away from boys. They're denying boys. They're leaving boys in the dust to try to give so much to women that because they want women to choose a different path. But women are choosing what they want to do. They're still getting all the advantages, but they're not doing what other society expects them to do. They're following their heart. They're going into nursing instead of the STEM field. You can't force the women to do something they don't want to do. But in the meantime, when they're doing this, all they're doing is taking away from young men.